All right, next is a pretty good fight too. You got Claudia Gadelha fighting Alexa Grasso, and Gadelha is coming off a win over Random Marcos, and I'm not gonna lie, man, that was one of the most boring fights I've ever watched. Just not a lot happening. Nobody throwing any real combinations and shit, and then they get frustrated with each other in the third round, and they're like, "Come on, come on." And it's like, okay, well, we just sat here for 2.5 rounds waiting for this, and then nothing really even materialized after they did that, right? Like after they get frustrated with each other and kind of egg each other on. Before that, she lost in a big upset to Nina Ansaroff. But to me, when I watched that fight, that was just Nina Ansaroff went from like, it felt like Nina Ansaroff was kind of like going like steadily increasing throughout her career, right? And then she just went boom and fucking took off, man. It's like she turned a corner and realized like some of her potential and just started throwing combos together and looked really good on the feet. Kind of exposed some things in Claudia Gadelha's game, right? And then before that, a split decision win over Carla Esparza in a close fight. All right, so these two have a common opponent in Carla Esparza. And when you watch Alexa Grasso fight Carla Esparza, Esparza was able to land some takedowns. And this is, I think that when these two are standing, I think Alexa Grasso is going to have the advantage on the feet between her and Claudia, right? I think that Claudia's striking base is a little more fundamental. That's not always a bad thing, but I just think that Grasso is going to be able to implement her game plan and attack with a little more variety. Going to have to worry about like keeping her head off the center line because Gadelha has some fucking power and stuff, right? Like just staying sound. But I think that the advantage is going to go to her. However, on the ground, you did see Carla Esparza take her down at different parts in the fight, right? And I think that you saw this a little bit when Gadelha and Carla Esparza fought. I think Claudia Gadelha's top control is a little bit better than Carla's, whereas Carla was kind of like she would get the takedown and working really hard to establish dominant position and hold Alexa down, but Alexa would always get back up to her feet. I think if Claudia is able to take Alexa down, she's going to be able to hold her there a little bit more securely and get some ground and pound off and be a little bit more vicious with it, you know? I just think her top game is a little bit better than Carla's. The question is going to be, is she going to be able to get past the striking and able to get in on some good entries, right? I think the thing about this is that Claudia is going to have to be able to threaten on the feet or else the takedowns aren't going to be there. They're never going to open themselves up because, I mean, if someone's dotting you up and establishing range, here's one of the things to look for, though. Sometimes when people are doing that, they can get a little bit too excited and overextend on something, looking for the finish a little bit too hard, getting a little too aggressive, and that'll open up the opportunity for the takedowns. So I think Alexa Grasso, if she wants to win this fight, is going to have to fight a patient fight. Intelligent, aggressive, but I like to use the term like controlled aggression, right? You can be aggressive, but when you start overextending and getting out of place on things and your footwork's fucked up and you're making small little mistakes at a high level like this, especially against someone like Gadelha, who's going to look to engage in the clinch and get this fight to the ground somehow and who's very powerful, right? Probably a little bit stronger in the clinch than Alexa's going to be. I think Alexa has to fight a very smart fight because I think if she starts tagging Gadelha and gets too excited with it, it could be to her detriment because she could get taken down. One thing to note is whoever I think is implementing their game plan like midway through round 2 is probably going to end up winning round 3. Just because I think Gadelha has a tendency to kind of get tired and fade a little bit in fights. And if Alexa Grasso is controlling things in the second round and dotting her up and Gadelha is not able to finish the second round on top, she's going to be tired going into third. And you might see Alexa Grasso I think if Alexa Grasso picks up a finish, it'll probably be in the third round. And for Gadelha, it could be, it's hard to say, right? Because she might be able to submit her from the top. She might be way more advanced on the ground than she is. I don't know. But I would guess that if the finish comes for Alexa Grasso, it'll come later in like the third round. But I would say that whoever controlled the second round is probably going to win the third, right? So the first round is kind of a toss-up. Like you might see Gadelha come out and take her down. I think this is going to be a fight where mid-fight adjustments are going to be very important for both fighters. Like if Alexa Grasso is teeing off on Claudia throughout the first round, Claudia is going to have to find a way to change momentum in the second, adjust her game plan, get the fight to the ground somehow, because if not, she's going to start to fade. And same thing for Alexa. I mean, if she's not able to stuff the takedown it's going to be a long fucking night for her, right? I mean, this sounds like the obvious striker versus wrestler matchup, and it kind of is in a way, but I think this is going to be about, like, I don't think the first round, not that the first round isn't important, it obviously is, right? Watch, this fight will fucking end in the first round. But I really think that the important round in this fight is going to be round number 2. I think whoever wins round number 2 is going to win round number 3. So mid-fight adjustments for me are the key to this one, and I'm taking Claudia Gadelha. Generally, I tend to lean towards the grappler, and yeah, I like I said, I think Claudia is going to have a significant disadvantage on the feet, but I like her odds of getting this to the ground at some point and wearing on Alexa. And sometimes when that happens as well, you'll see, like, if Claudia can get a takedown and kind of secure it, it'll open up her striking a little bit more, which will then open up her takedowns. It all kind of works together, right? This is a winnable fight for Alexa Grasso, though, and I'm really interested to see how this one plays out. But if I had to bet money on it, I'm taking Claudia Gadelha.